The Baroness is as beautiful as a sunrise, but beneath her dazzling smile lies a heart as cold and cruel as winter. She moves like a blizzard, and a single glance from her could freeze any soul in place. That is the only reputation this Baroness Nane has earned in the mind of the protagonist. After all, Nane is nothing more than a villainous side character meant to stand in the way of the princess's love story and drive her into the arms of the vile king. The maids whisper among themselves, clearly uneasy. They know Nane is on her way to the drawing room, but the tea has already been set outside. One of them, mustering courage, calls out to her. Meanwhile, Lucy, newly assigned to the manor, greets Nane in a gloom-laced voice, commenting on how the weather is quite nice today and that she should have taken a walk outside. But here's the thing: when the writer truly despises a character, they make it known. Nane smiles sweetly and says she's looking forward to it all, but the maid mutters to Lucy that they've never seen her smile like this before, and if this is a threat, then yes, perhaps it is. It's becoming clear that the writer really does hate Nane, which, unfortunately, is a terrible stroke of luck for the poor protagonist, because now she's stuck inside Nane's body. Nane, the protagonist, is internally panicking, wondering if she handled that encounter correctly. Honestly, the maid's ignoring her completely is almost helpful. She's only been in this body for about a week, and adjusting has been anything but easy. This mansion is the size of a small country. She can't even find the exit half the time. And then there's Lucy. She's strange. She's the only one who doesn't seem scared of Nane. In fact, she reminds the protagonist of her old self. Just a week ago, the protagonist was genuinely happy. It was before all this, before the ending that spiraled into disaster. She had just landed her dream job right out of high school. Working at a quaint little bakery, learning under a master pastry chef, she'd go home each evening with bags full of sweets he'd taught her to make. It felt like everything was falling into place. Sure, she was dead broke, but she had enough willpower to get up every day and keep going, because this was what she wanted to do with her life, not just as a cashier, but as the owner of a bakery someday. To chase that dream, she also picked up a night job as a delivery driver, mainly to save up through tips. She worked in the food service industry for 5 years, and she preferred the customers who couldn't always afford to tip over the entitled ones. Even then, her customer service smile was impeccable, no matter how rude people were. But now she's the rich, entitled customer. She doesn't know how to carry this aura. She isn't sure what to say to the maids, because the original Nane always had a complaint ready. Instead, she tells them everything is fine. She even says thank you. The maids look at her like she's lost her mind. It's difficult for her. Nane would never say these things, but the protagonist is in her body now, and she'll have to maintain the act. Because just a week ago, the second job she'd taken to chase her dreams ended up killing her. It's like the saying goes, your whole life flashes before your eyes when you die. But no one ever talks about what comes next. She opens her eyes, and sleeping before her is a ridiculously handsome, edible-looking man. She wonders briefly, who the hell is this man? And more importantly, is he dead? Thankfully, she can see that he's breathing, though she's not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. She pokes herself to confirm, no, this definitely isn't a dream. If it's not a dream, then, was she abducted? She bolts for the door and starts to run, trying to get a grip. After all, she's watched enough crime documentaries to know she needs to stay sharp. Maybe she can find a bus stop first. But oh, poor her, there's no sign of a highway or even asphalt. Instead, she sees a carriage and horses. She blinks. Maybe this serial killer is just crazy and rich. She lights the only candle in the room, having no idea what she's supposed to do. Her instincts kick in. Girl needs to find a weapon. She starts rummaging through papers, searching for a dagger or anything remotely sharp. Finally, she finds a knife. Without hesitation, she points it at the handsome man, because just because your kidnapper looks like a model doesn't mean you can trust him. She catches sight of her on a nearby mirror, and oh my god, girl could not seem to recognize it. Even the flames seem to burst upward as the candle tips and falls. In a panic, instead of putting it out with water, she accidentally splashes wine on it. No water. No rational thinking. Cue Sleeping Beauty finally waking up and getting soaked in the wine. The man stares at her, completely drenched. She internally curses herself. Great way to provoke the murderer. She tries to cover her tracks and gestures weakly, as if saying she was just trying to extinguish the flames. The cute murderer stares at her and tells her it wasn't wise. She agrees it was indeed incredibly stupid. He reaches for her hand, inspecting it gently to check if she got burned anywhere. She's too flustered to react properly. He calls her something that catches her off guard because the name Nane sounds oddly familiar. She barely manages to stammer out that she's fine, before asking, somewhat out of order, if he is good. He tells her calmly that it could have been dangerous after all. They've only been married for a month and he sincerely hopes this isn't an omen. Wait, married? Okay. So this guy doesn't exactly scream serial killer now, but she still can't understand any of what's happening. He reaches for one of the scattered papers and asks her what it is. She starts to backpedal, saying she just needs a walk, maybe some fresh air. And then he asks her, is this another one of her lovers? She's horrified. No, she wants to scream. But he starts reading the letter aloud. It's a love note in which his wife Nane is clearly planning to meet her lover next week. The worst part? He actually looks hurt. Oh God. No, wait, he's got it all wrong. If he thinks this is the only lover she's had, then he's in for an even bigger heartbreak. Her husband Isaac apparently is angry now. He wants her to explain all of this. He asks her, straight-faced, if his darling wife would care to clarify. She, meanwhile, is wondering if she'll ever get out of this massive disaster of a situation. Over the next couple of weeks, she starts to piece things together. No one is actually a serial killer. Not that it matters because she really is dead in her original life. She remembers the car crash, the impact, the spinning headlights. That moment when time stops. She must have died. Apparently, the universe decided her personal hell would begin by getting stuck in the body of Nane, her least favorite character from a novel she once skimmed. She must have pissed off some higher power. What else could explain being reincarnated not as the heroine but as the most hated side character? She didn't have time to finish reading the whole novel, but the plot still sticks with her. The heroine is Princess Amelia of Legatia, a noble, strong-hearted girl who inherits the throne after her older brother, the king, suddenly dies. He was poisoned, and when the news hits the cities, riots erupt in the streets. The people immediately suspect Zeldin, the neighboring country known for its impulsive, brutal history of war. Everyone believes Zeldin has broken the fragile peace treaty. With her brother dead, her mother paralyzed by grief, and her people crying for justice, Amelia is left to rule alone. Well, not entirely alone. She has her childhood friend by her side, Isaac, the legation ambassador to Zeldin. Yep, that Isaac. The very same Isaac who is now married to Nane. In the web novel, it was heavily implied that both Isaac and Amelia had feelings for each other, but for political reasons, Isaac had to marry someone else. Even a well-bred noble wasn't a good match for the princess. But then, why the hell did the author make Isaac marry Nane? Nane had no remarkable qualities. She was a nightmare to the servants, a terror to animals, and on top of that she cheated on her husband. Not once, not twice, multiple times. And that's why the protagonist is currently hiding in the garden. Because honestly, none of this is her fault. She knows exactly how the story ends. Amelia tries to preserve peace between Zeldin and Legatia. She suppresses her own feelings and even agrees to marry the ruthless Zeldin king to prevent an all-out war. But it all backfires. The king betrays her. War breaks out. And in the middle of it all, Isaac and Nane are accused of treason. They're captured, dragged before the throne, and executed. Beheaded, right in the middle of the royal court. Gross. She remembers the webtoon panel too clearly. Even the expressions of the crowd made her gag. Nane really wants to keep her head. So the best move here? Get out of Legatia ASAP. Only problem, she's a woman in a medieval fantasy kingdom. She has no independent finances, not a coin in her name. But if she can escape, it'll be a win-win. No one here likes her anyway. She's basically a walking pariah. Except for that one guy Gustav, her weirdo stalker. She asks him directly if he needs anything from her. And Gustav, without hesitation, says he needs her. Why? Oh great, direct need. Wow, he even winks at her god, he better have something in his eye. She can't even get a little hour of peace alone before this guy manages to find her again. She wonders to herself if he doesn't have any job to do. If he has so much time on his hands, then maybe he should go wash the toilet again. Somehow, he still gets a hint from that, because why else would someone want to sleep with their nasty CEO? He tells her he's here to fetch her for the butler, but she savagely ignores him, moving past him while mentally thanking him for the information. Poor Gustav looks all sad and says of course, but still insists on accompanying her. She tells him she's really fine walking alone. But this man, with the resolve of an elephant, claims he can't let a beautiful lady walk around unescorted. This guy has been the same with her since the start. The female maids did find him charming, but to her, he's nothing but annoying. She's so done and even wonders if Nane was sleeping with him or what. She can't believe that Nane had such low standards. Before they go inside, he grabs her hand and, with a cough, says that they never got the chance to pick up where they left off last time. He must be thinking about their last encounter in her bedroom. She can see the red alert flashing now and knows she really needs to do something. Having no other choice, she runs away. Finally, she gets away from him. She wishes that would answer whatever question he was about to ask. She can tell that Nane really didn't like her affairs with rich noblemen. He may be the only one who doesn't hate her, but him actually liking her might be even worse. But again, who knows? He might be useful. At least he's not afraid to talk to her. She has less than a year to run away from Legatia or she will die. If she could play it smart, she might have been able to use his infatuation with her to her advantage and done everything possible to keep him loyal to her. But bro, have some dignity. She wonders if it really wouldn't be that bad after all. This is the kind of thing they usually do in this era. She's honestly considering it. She then overhears someone saying that her and Isaac sleeping in separate rooms after the wedding is not good. Someone tells Isaac that if he really wants to keep living like this, he better use the master suite. But Isaac insists it won't be necessary and that their current arrangement is fine. He instructs the butler to tell the other servants that he will keep living in the guest wing for the time being. They both still haven't talked since that incident when Isaac found out about her affairs. He only said one thing to her after that if she kept doing this, he wouldn't have any other option but to divorce her. She starts pacing. Getting divorced is a good thing, but again, that way she'll end up poor and single, and this era is not kind to single women. With no better option, she plans to live here until she comes up with something smarter. She plans to survive this life by making friends with people who might not want to sleep with her. The butler suggests that he knows Nane can be demanding, but they can give her a good room on the 3rd floor. But Isaac doesn't want that. He says it's alright and, to avoid making Nane lose face, tells the butler that she must just be exhausted from their long, yummy honeymoon. She's confused. Why is he covering for her? It's not like her reputation could get any worse. But maybe he's doing it for himself. Isaac takes his leave, saying that he will keep taking his meals in the study. Later, he meets Nane outside, but ignores her. She can even feel the cold air coming off his shoulder. Isaac avoiding her might buy her some time, but then again, this guy is also intimidating. She wonders if there's a way to earn a quick buck, or if she can sneak out to scope things out beyond this labor of a mansion. Now sitting with the butler, he tells her that a polo event is coming up, and as the most famous horse rider aristocrat, she will be expected to take part. Nane wonders if she was really a great aristocrat, because in her past life she has never even seen a horse. This feels like a footnote in the novel, and it seems like it's about to ruin her life. The butler adds that they will have to prepare a dish, and he was told that the Duchess is really fond of cream and peaches. She gets really annoyed after learning this. She thinks that if the Duchess likes cream and peaches, she must also like sweet cream cheese, strawberry, chocolate, and salted key lime. She asks how many people know that the Duchess likes this kind of food. He tells her that everyone knows this. She points out that it wouldn't be a good idea to bring the same things everyone else will be bringing. She says she's got some really good alternatives, but all the things she names are dishes the poor butler has never even heard of. He asks her if she thinks the chef will be familiar with any of those dishes. He takes her to the kitchen. The kitchen is massive. And to Nane, it feels like heaven. The kitchen is truly beautiful, and the air is filled with a delicious aroma. Nane notices all the maids busily preparing fresh bread for the week. One of the maids almost jumps in fear upon spotting Nane in the kitchen, as Nane had apparently been giving them an intense stare without realizing it. The frightened maid nudges another, and soon the entire group looks gloomy, making Nane wonder why she's suddenly giving off weird vibes. It's not like she's the problem here. She observes that the chef is very picky. Several maids have to start over from the beginning because they didn't do it perfectly. Even that one maid is having a hard time. It seems like everyone is terrified of the head cook. Honestly, it's just as terrible as the bread-making production house she used to work at in her past life. She asks Luis if he knows who hired Francis. Luis reminds her that it was she who hired him. Oh, right, it really was her. He then hands her the grocery list for the month. It includes everything the kitchen needs to prepare for that upcoming fancy party. Luis mentions that the budget is a bit of a mess. He knows that she fired a lot of maids a few days ago and that they haven't hired replacements yet. They can't take any more money out of the payroll account for other household expenses. She can't believe she fired someone. She wonders why. What did the maid even do to deserve getting fired? Was it that, with Nane's lavish spending, she simply wanted to redirect the funds to pay for her million boy toys? She can't believe she may have ruined someone's career for her own luxury. Then again, it's actually kind of a good yet evil move. At least she's got taste. She looks over the grocery list and finds it really small. It only has honey, cocoa powder, and the most basic fruits. But still, it might be enough to make the pastry she has in mind. She's planning to make strawberry and raspberry Napoleons. The ingredients for it are simple enough. The only question is whether she has the time. She approaches Francis to ask if the dessert can be made. Francis nods, saying yes, but it's obvious she's lying. Nane starts to wonder if these desserts even exist in this world yet. She thinks maybe they don't, and she could teach Francis how to make them. But then again, the whole maid team would need to learn too, and they don't have that kind of time. She asks Francis if she knows how to make elephant's ears, a kind of dessert. Looking even more gloomy, Francis says sure, they can try one by one. Nane proceeds to list all kinds of desserts, and it becomes painfully clear that this chef doesn't know how to make any of them, which leads her to wonder how is she even the cook. Maybe dessert making in this era is just really underdeveloped. She thinks hiring a new chef would be too much of a pain. So she asks Francis if she at least knows how to make crepes. She figures that everyone here must at least know how to cook crepes, so they'll go with that. The butler, however, is bewildered. But still, the order is given to make crepes. As she leaves, she thinks to herself that even if they're not much advanced in baking, it's okay because she's not just going to sit back and bring crepes to that party. After all, there's that saying, if it can't get done, do it yourself. That night, Nane is lying on her bed, wide awake, feeling sleepy and wondering if everyone else has gone to their own beds yet. She thinks that even if she's stuck in this world, she can at least make good desserts and bring new sugar recipes to life. She's honestly dying to try out that kitchen again. Finally, it's time for her to bake something. She looks around, wondering if heating up the oven will draw too much attention. But then again, she thinks she's in charge of this place. No one will dare to question her. But oh, no, the door is locked. She is utterly disheartened. How is she supposed to make those banana layers now? This place really is hell, at least for a high society Korean girl like her. She really misses her body and her modern stoves. She's all sad because now she's supposed to bring those crepes to the Duchess like some amateur. Things aren't going great. And then Gustav shows up. She's already done with everything when he asks what she's doing here at this hour. She tells him she was just about to leave like, man, get the hint, can you? But he leans very close to her like, really close, and says he heard that she and Isaac aren't sharing a room, and he hopes Isaac isn't having too much trouble sleeping alone. She tells him she's fine and asks why he's here this late. He tells her that Isaac asked him to get a drink, but she can tell from the look on his face that he just came to steal one for himself. She tries to escape, saying that in that case, he should go do his duty. But oh my god, with his smooth riz, he says that he'd much rather attend to her, because he still remembers perfectly well that she liked his company last time. Brushing her cheek, he asks if she's really sure she doesn't want an escort upstairs. She can't believe this guy is so terribly confident. Girl really considers it for a moment because, you see, she hasn't had that in so long. But she slaps herself, what the hell is she even thinking at this time? Besides all that, he's really pushy, which is an absolute turn-off in a man. Still, she begins to think that if she lets him kiss her and he becomes her lover, maybe she could use him to escape this place. But that would only make her worse than the old Baroness. It's basically body snatching, and it would be really weird. She tells him that she knows they might share a really good connection, but again, she really needs to be careful about her reputation here. He says he understands, of course. He knows her marriage with Isaac lacks passion, she herself told him that. But if she wants to stay loyal to Isaac, he understands that too. In that case, he says it's better if they just say goodbye. Nane agrees that this sounds good and bids him farewell as well. The next day, Nane is having breakfast with Isaac. She really misses having coffee, because this breakfast she's currently eating is almost entirely fruit. A maid asks her if she'd like anything else. She replies that she's fine. Nane is all worked up, thinking she should appear completely fine. She wonders if Isaac thinks she speaks far too informally. She forces herself to start a conversation, asking Isaac if there's anything interesting in the newspaper. But, poor her, she gets ignored terribly. She's not sure what he's doing sitting there eating with her all of a sudden, but again, maybe it's just for appearances. She wonders if this is really what a passionless marriage looks like. The web novel basically implied that much. She wonders if this is why Nane cheated on him, because he never cared for her. She thinks maybe their marriage was a matter of convenience all along. But then again, she's sure he at least cared a little. She could see the hurt in his eyes when he found out she was cheating on him. She also notices that he barely touches those vegetables, which, let's be honest, she doesn't blame him, for those things were never particularly appetizing. And naturally, he prefers sweets. She sighs to herself, girl, are you even thinking straight? It's not like she married him. She reminds herself that she better start thinking more carefully. That fish over there already seems to be leading her eyes toward Amel, and she can't get distracted. Meanwhile, we see that Lucy is bustling around the place. Nane is sure that this large estate is built to make the lowest ranks come first and leave last. And now is the time to finally talk to Lucy alone. She approaches Lucy, who gets all surprised to see her like this. Nane asks her if she's that scullery maid with the gleaming eyes. Lucy says that she is. Nane tells her that she's sure Lucy doesn't want to remain a scullery maid her whole life. But this cute girl seems happy with whatever employment she's been given. Nane tells her she's sure Lucy just wants to upgrade her rank. Lucy also says that she does, but it will take some time. Nane smirks and asks if she would like her help. All confused, Lucy asks if she means she wants to help her upgrade. Nane says that's not exactly what she meant, she'll just help her learn how to know how. What even is that? Nane's going to teach her. Lucy lights up. She's actually really cute, but Nane reminds herself that she needs to act like a proper villainess. She tells her that it's rather inconvenient for her as a baroness, but still, she'll help her. It'll be a favor she's going to do for her, and of course, this favor is it. So now, we see that Nane is teaching Lucy how to make good bread, but oh my god, this girl is really new to it. While making the bread, she pours in all the flour and ends up creating an absolute mess. Lucy quickly says she'll go clean it up right away, but Nane scolds her, telling her she needs to stir it up first. She starts to laugh because, honestly, she's really starting to enjoy this whole bossy attitude she's putting on. Finally, they manage to make the bread. Lucy asks Nane if she did well, and Nane tells her that it was mostly her doing, which makes Lucy really happy. She practically throws her arms around Nane in a hug. Nane then grabs a set of keys and explains that the big one is for the main kitchen, the fork-shaped one is for the pantry, and the little one is for the butler's lockbox. She tells Lucy to return the keys before morning. The maid is overjoyed that she finally gets her hands on these keys. Lucy, who reads a lot of sensational noble stories, asks Nane what she does in the kitchen during the night. Nane replies mischievously, saying it's rather bold of her to ask such a question. But just for her sake, she tells her the truth. She's been having a snacking problem and would be mortified if Isaac ever found out. Lucy promises not to say a word to anyone, though she's secretly convinced that Nane must be doing something shady like drugs this late at night. They finally say their goodbyes, but even then, Nane still can't believe she now gets access to this entire place every night. A few days later, we see the maids whispering among themselves. Nane thinks that the gossip must be incredibly juicy today for them to be talking like this, especially because they usually act dull and lifeless around her. That must mean her plan is working. Earlier, the butler came to Nane and handed her a basket, saying that someone gave it with instructions to deliver it to different departments of the manor staff. She told him that she wasn't sure what he was talking about and assumed it must have been Isaac's cousin who sent it. The maid insists that this must have come from Isaac himself. The maid then tells Nane that she's really lucky to have married him. Nane is glad that she was able to use her skills to brighten up the mood around here, and everyone really does seem much happier today. She spent the last 3 nights baking for fun. She even jokes that she must have gone bankrupt making all this stuff. She ended up baking enough to feed at least a small village. She even eavesdrops on the servants talking, who debate whether they should try the sweets or not because what if they're poisoned? They seriously need to stop borrowing Lucy's novels. Still, one of the maids comments that the muffin she tried was pretty dry. Nane calms herself down, saying it's alright. After all, she's still learning how to use the iron stove. She even burned a whole batch once, but she's still sad about it because it's just not like her. She starts to note down all the problems she made that night and heads into round 2 of muffin making. She's glad she managed to get this many ingredients without worrying about wasting them. She plans to sit by the oven and watch them rise, because that simple sight brings joy to her. She takes out the muffins and sets them aside to cool for the day. As she walks back to her room, she notices the study room door is open. Inside, she sees Isaac sleeping at his desk while working. She thinks that, once again, she seems to have lost her eyes or at least, her focus. Still, she wonders why he's sleeping like this here. But he looks cute, sleeping like that. At least he isn't glaring at her. She wonders how often he sleeps in this study, and honestly, the place looks really comfy. It seems like the kind of space perfect for an introvert. She thinks that maybe he also deserves a sweet treat. She tiptoes toward him, hoping he doesn't wake up, and places a muffin by his side. She knows that one single muffin won't change his mind about her, but at least it brings her joy to give it to him. Then, she quietly leaves. Meanwhile, Isaac opens his eyes from sleep and sees the muffin sitting on his table. The day of the horse riding competition is drawing near, which means poor Nane still needs to figure out how to ride a horse. But it seems like Charlotte's mind is somewhere else. She tightens Nane's corset a little too much, and when Nane flinches, Charlotte quickly apologizes, explaining that she's a little distracted this morning. Nane notices that Charlotte doesn't look too well and asks her if she wants to take a leave. What she says is simply to take a leave, but what the maids overhear is that she's firing Charlotte. Instantly, panic spreads. Charlotte becomes terrified for her job while the other maids rush to assure Nane that this is not what Charlotte meant, and she's perfectly fine. Even Charlotte bows deeply and apologizes for being distracted this morning. Later that day, Nane tells Lucy everything that happened, including how Charlotte behaved. Lucy tells her that Charlotte is in love. Nane can't believe it. Charlotte, truly in love? Lucy explains further that poor Charlotte keeps getting her heart broken by that stable guy. Charlotte and Finn were childhood friends, and Charlotte seems to be head over heels for him, but he remains very defensive. A few weeks ago, he apparently fell in love with some girl from town, and now he won't stop talking about her. Nane wonders how Lucy knows all this. Lucy tells her that no one really notices her, so she ends up hearing all kinds of conversations. Nane finds it hilarious and mutters that boys like this seem to exist in every era. The two of them share a funny moment. Now, Nane is out there with her horse, because the girls got only 3 days left until the competition. Not only that she can't pretend to be sick and miss this polo match, she really can't afford to miss this one. After all, she needs to make connections to rise in this place. She's literally out here, half begging her horse to listen to her. She introduces herself to the horse, saying she's Nane and swearing that she didn't get into this body from another world. Gustav arrives. She turns to him, explaining how much she really needs him right now, which genuinely shocks him. He says he's trying to honor her request, but still doesn't understand because she was supposed to be the most decorated rider from the countryside. Nane doesn't really know how to lie about this anymore, so she admits that she's not good at all. He asks about the trophies displayed on her wall. She admits that it's a good question, but says they're all fake. He smirks confidently and says he hopes this isn't some excuse just to get him alone. She huffs, saying if he doesn't want to help, he can just say so. He denies saying that, though it definitely seems like she has her own secrets too. He adds that he's flattered she's telling this to him and asks her to follow. He tells her to stay calm, because like all horses, her horse Biscuit can also hear fear. She scoffs at the name, calling it ridiculous. Gustav tells her it's based on his favorite food. She can't believe it. What kind of horse has such terrible taste? He explains that for now, if she wants to pass herself off as a practice rider, she needs to learn how to hold her posture upright without bouncing around. Later, she sits defeated. Gustav admits that he always found it strange that she was considered an equestrian, because in Legatia, this sport is usually pursued solely by men. He tells her he's half Legatian, born in Zeldin, and has lived here for a few years. She asks him if it's been difficult adjusting here. He tells her that she might not remember, but he was hired by Isaac right after the king's death. Legatians did blame Zeldins for that, so he expected the staff to be cold to him, but that wasn't the case. After all, Isaac is the Legatian ambassador to Zeldin. Why would he allow discrimination in his own staff? And on top of that, Gustav is charming and handsome, so why would anyone hate him? Nane mutters incredible under her breath. She's beginning to like him even less than she did 5 seconds ago. Gustav adds that even if they did treat him differently for being Zeldin, it wouldn't have mattered. It's always been his dream to work for a Zeldin diplomat. Nane thinks to herself that if only he could know how this is going to end. She says that it seems like he enjoys being Isaac's footman. He smiles and says that, for now, yes, and then points out that she's riding quite well now, all thanks to him. She starts to ride her horse, saying that this is right, and warns him that if he ever tells anyone, she will call him a liar and have him fired immediately. He simply replies with, "Okay, ma'am." Now we see Finn again, talking about the new girl who's caught his heart. His friend sarcastically reminds him that he felt the same way about the last one. Watching all of this is Nane. She sees that Charlotte is also there, looking heartbroken as she listens in silence. Nane turns to Gustav and says that she would like to ask another favor from him. We see that Nane is peeking at Gustav, who is currently trying his best to lift Charlotte's mood. Just a while ago, she had thought to herself that she might need to study his technique too. He really is good, yes, good at so many things. Seuss had told him that his shameless flirting might be exactly what was needed this time. Now, back to Gustav using his charm, Nane notices that even that F-boy seems to be paying attention too. Charlotte might finally get a revenge. Meanwhile, on the other side, Isaac is speaking to the general. He says that he doesn't think this plan is sustainable. Their aim should be keeping peace at the border, and pushing a stronger military presence could backfire. The general responds that they have no choice, as the princess still refuses to close the border to house brutes. Isaac looks down at the documents in front of him, already having seen that most of the reported crimes happen at night, usually started by drunk, rowdy men who can't even stand up properly. He suggests that a curfew might help, but the general argues that it won't fix anything. The longer they delay, the angrier their people will become. He adds, almost bitterly, that the late king was Isaac's friend too. Isaac glares at him and says this is exactly why he understands better than anyone that starting a senseless war is not the way forward. The general, however, still insists. What does Isaac think they'll gain by waiting? Their enemies in the north, Zeldin, seem to be waiting for an opportunity to strike. Ever since the failed Steel Agreement and the confirmation of Amelia's succession, rumors have spread. Some say she poisoned her own father to take the throne. Having had enough, Isaac sharply asks the general to watch his tongue. But the general scoffs, saying he isn't a fool either. Still, he thinks that if they don't go after the so-called murderer, it will look as if they're cowards. Isaac can see that the man is loyal to a fault, but he makes it clear that his stance on the border will not change. Still, he offers a compromise. He will send a garrison to support the enforcement of the curfew. The general scoffs again, saying it's funny to be making deals with him now, and maybe that's something Nane appreciates about Isaac too. Isaac begins to reflect. He knows exactly what Nane appreciates. Popularity, spotlight, security. He thinks they might have made a good match in theory. With her ability to command a room, he felt like he could finally get a reprieve. They had agreed to marry for their own reasons. He knew her feelings for him were shallow, but that had been fine with him. They wouldn't have rushed into anything serious. But now, there are bigger problems to deal with. Later that night, poor Nane is out again, trying to train with Biscuit. She goes to him gently, begging him to go with her. She even promises not to make fun of his name. She stands between his eyes, thinking that he's such a powerful creature he could kill her if he wanted to. She tells him he doesn't have to worry, he got something for her too. She gives him the biscuit. Just then, she hears that Finn is calling for Charlotte. She says to herself that Gustav has no romantic interest in her. She adds bitterly that this is obvious. Why would anyone have a love interest in her in the first place? She thinks that everyone sees her as naive, clumsy, and plain. She says that it's fine, she's used to it. No one has to care about her at all. But Gustav calls her by name and says that he can't help it, he cares about her a lot. And then he kisses her. Nane, watching all of this unfold, is clearly shocked. She thinks that this was such an unexpected plot twist, but the girl is clearly enjoying it. She turns to Biscuit again, taking out another biscuit and reminding him that she brought him food, so he better act right with her. She begs him to be nice, but oh my god, the horse does not seem to like her at all. He suddenly starts to run at full speed. This throws Nane off completely. He's neighing loudly, and poor Nane falls to the ground. She opens her eyes, confused and dazed, wondering what the hell is happening and if she is going to die again. We see that someone is calling Ally, an old aunt who comes to her, saying that her actual aunt couldn't make it, but she called in her place. She came to let them know that Ally can choose whichever cake she wants. Ally thinks that she is alone again, but at least she's got a cake. She remembers this very clearly. On every birthday, she used to make these cakes with her parents. But ever since her parents died, no one was quite sure how to step up. This is her second birthday without them. She is glad that they died before her. Of course, it would have been much more painful for them if she had gone first. Still, she never stopped missing them. Her mom never complained when she made a bit of a mess in the kitchen, and her dad would always take the things she baked with him to his security guard shifts. Later, he would thank her and give her an honest review, even if it was just a sticky note. She wanted to keep baking to keep their memory alive, but it was really lonely for her. Still, there's a cherry on top. While she's moving, she bumps into someone and all her cake falls. She thinks she can fix it, but ends up starting to cry. Back to Nane, who is now half awake. She wonders where her cake is. She also wonders if she's dreaming and why she's on a horse. Isaac asks her if she's awake. She pokes him to check if she's dreaming again. She gets dizzy. He gives up because she's about to fall again. She sighs and asks what exactly happened. He tells her that she fell off the horse and hit her head. She asks him if he really saved her life. He sighs and says that she would have survived even if he didn't come, but she's glad that he brought her horse, because she really can't afford an ambulance right now. She mumbles that this stuff is really confusing, and wonders if people here don't die from concussions. He tells her that there are doctors at the manor and that she wasn't going to die. She starts spouting nonsense, saying she was about to die but not her horse, and he doesn't even seem to care at all. It's really tragic. But Isaac seems to find it funny that she's saying things like this. Lately, he also seems to feel like she's become someone else. She remembers that this is right after all. Nane was cheating on him. She was a great horse rider, born in a countryside kingdom, and also really charming. She says to him that this is what one gets after marrying a star. It seems like he really is showing some major red flags, but she's sure he must have loved something about her. She says she's sorry that they replaced his real wife. They finally reach the manor. She says to him that she went head first, and if she's going to die, he sighs for what feels like the 10th time, telling her again that she's not going to die. She tells him that it's easy for him to say that, after all, she died once in that cliff too. He tries to tell her to stop being so dramatic. She says she needs to show him what actually dramatic looks like. A murmur rises among the people, some are chanting in worry, convinced that something is seriously wrong with Nane. However, others argue that the doctor had already assured them everything was fine. Nane slowly begins to stir, her head throbbing painfully as she blinks against the harsh light. For a moment, she wonders, is she in a hospital? The room feels distant, like she's emerging from a coma. Around her, voices hush each other, urging silence so no one else wakes up. But it's too late. Nane is already awake. Akira quickly approaches, asking if she's alright, mentioning that the doctor had checked on her earlier that morning. Nane stares blankly, her mind foggy. She wonders what exactly happened because the last she remembers, everyone, including herself, had been acting strangely. Visiting the servants, wandering aimlessly, it's all a blur. She doesn't recall any of it clearly. A maid beside her exhales with relief and gently says it's understandable. They all figured something like this might happen. Nane finds it oddly amusing, the idea that the bump on her head might have actually changed her personality. And then, like a lightning bolt of inspiration, it hits her. Why hadn't she thought of this sooner? She sits up suddenly, excitement in her voice. She tells the maid she's had a realization, a lot of things have become clear to her. And more than anything, she just wants to say one thing: she's truly thankful. For all of them. This moment, this accident, it's the perfect excuse. She hit her head, and now she's a completely different person. Tears prick her eyes, tears of joy. Finally, she can stop pretending to be the cruel, cold girl everyone feared. Now, maybe she can actually make some friends. But just as she tries to stand, the room spins. She's dizzy, her body not yet ready to cooperate. Hopefully this isn't actual brain damage, she thinks wryly. Meanwhile, the maids and aides watch her with uncertainty. They're still not convinced that this new Nane is the real deal. But she brushes it off. As one of the aides opens the door for her, she thanks him warmly, something that makes the other maid open her mouth in shock. As she steps out, Nane sees Isaac waiting for her to have tea. Of course, she thinks. Out of all the days, this man had to choose now to have tea with me? It's awkward, this man who pretends to be her husband, but secretly can't stand her. Nane wonders if she can blame her current confusion on amnesia. Maybe she can pull it off. She really doesn't remember much about last night anyway, and what little she does remember seems chaotic. Still, she knows deep down that she can't keep pretending forever. Just thinking about the past, the affairs, the lies, makes her feel sick. Isaac, trying to keep the mood steady, tells her that he hopes her wishes for the new day will grow and come true. She nods faintly, saying she needs rest. After all, if her injury is serious, she won't be able to participate in the upcoming match. She delivers this line with the right amount of disappointment, as if it's tragic news. But inside, she knows she'll just blow them off during the fancy dinner party. Isaac, however, has a different take. He suggests they skip the entire event altogether. That catches her off guard. She flusters, raising her voice, insisting they absolutely cannot cancel. She quickly apologizes, admitting she didn't mean to react so strongly, it's just that she's been under a lot of stress lately. She tells him she was actually looking forward to this one party. Besides, she argues, it would be rude to cancel at the last minute. Isaac sighs, agreeing it would be rude, but he also wonders what exactly excites her so much about this party. If it's just to see one of her special friends, he'd rather she endure public humiliation than make a fool of them both. He tells her he doesn't care what she does in her free time, but in public, she needs to act in a way that won't damage his image. Nane responds gently, assuring him that she truly has ended her affairs with her pen pals. She never intended to win his favor again, but he had carried her home the other night. That act meant something. She says she knows they hardly know each other, but being stuck in that bed gave her time to reflect. And now, she realizes many of the assumptions she had made about him weren't fair at all. She apologizes, then adds something hopeful: she wants to get to know him better. Isaac, a man known more for diplomacy than sentiment, listens quietly. When he first proposed to her, he says, he had believed her to be the most surprising woman in the court. But even he, as a seasoned diplomat, admits he misjudged her. She will have to forgive him for not trusting her fully. Then he adds that if the party still excites her, she can go by all means. From the beginning, their marriage had been one of mutual convenience, after all. Nane smiles. But what if, she says, we could be more than that? She's still smiling as she suggests it wouldn't hurt to be good friends, right? She knows, of course, that first she must earn his trust again. And beyond that, she wants to make things right with the servants. For better or worse, she doesn't want to be the woman he married, not that version of herself. She isn't trying to replace anyone, but she wants to live happily with everyone here, including him. And so, little by little, Nane begins to see a path forming before her, a chance to change the story. Today is the big FUA, the long-anticipated one-dish party, and finally, the day has arrived. Nane is excited, dressed, and prepared, but Isaac has been giving her the cold shoulder all morning. She notices it clearly but tries to brush it off. Why should she care if he's angry? She isn't about to let him ruin her day. Isaac makes it abundantly clear that whatever peace they seemed to have the other day doesn't mean they're suddenly on good terms again. Still, Nane holds her head high. Her lemon bars turned out perfectly, and she's confident they'll be a hit at the party. Trying to lighten the tension, she offers one of the lemon bars to Isaac, asking if he would like to try it. He responds curtly, saying he heard the chef had strict orders to only make crepes, and asks whether she overburdened the staff with this new pastry. Nane, slightly offended but still composed, swears on whatever they believe and that she made them entirely on her own. No kitchen maid was harmed in the making of these lemon bars. Isaac is visibly surprised. He hadn't expected her to do something so hands-on herself. She tells him that if he truly doesn't want to try it, she'd at least like an honest review. Isaac admits that he wouldn't be a good critic, he's never even tasted lemon before. That makes Nane genuinely sad, though she tries to hide it. As they arrive at the venue, she mentally prepares herself to take down all the other dishes with her own skills. But as time passes, no one is buying anything from her table except, ironically, the crepes. Then the Duke and Duchess arrive, the most powerful judges of the event. Nane wants to approach them because they're the only ones who could truly help her. But she hesitates. She doesn't know them, and now, with Isaac nowhere in sight, she's suddenly alone. One half of the couple, the lady, approaches her with a mocking smile. She asks if Nane really intends to skip the match. How could she pass up such an opportunity? Nane tries to stay calm, saying it was on the doctor's orders. But she silently wonders what this woman's issue is. Why does she hate me so much? Still, Nane manages to slip a lemon bar to the man beside the woman. Just as he's about to try it, the lady slaps it out of his hand, claiming it looks unhealthy. Nane is speechless. Can they even do that? Are lemon bars truly that offensive? Now, no one is buying from her at all. One woman even whispers that she and her husband wouldn't eat something like that, not even for Nane's favor. It's disheartening. Nane starts to feel like this is going just as horribly as the time her ex didn't even tell his family they were dating. If she were to judge how badly things were going based on how many lemon bars are left in her basket, well, she'd say she's heading straight for a beheading. But things somehow get worse. One of her old lovers appears, greeting her with a smug smile and asking when they can meet again. He even kisses her hand. Nane shoves him away immediately, telling him to get out of her life forever. She dashes off in frustration, and unfortunately, Isaac sees everything. But just as she's catching her breath, another of her former flings appears waiting, watching. It's becoming overwhelming. Nane hates to admit it, but Isaac had been right. Coming here really was a mistake. She wonders just how many men did she seduce with these cursed crepes. Then, in her rush, she bumps into someone. Her basket goes tumbling to the ground. The woman she collided with immediately apologizes, but Nane quickly assures her that it was entirely her fault for not looking where she was going. Thankfully, her desserts are intact. The woman, stunning and composed, asks Nane what these sweets are. She's never seen anything like them before. Nane explains that they're lemon bars and asks if she'd like to try one. To her delight, the woman does and genuinely enjoys it. Nane, who rarely receives compliments without suspicion, is thrilled by the praise. The woman tells her this is the first good thing she's tried all day. She adds that she arrived late, so she hadn't had a chance to meet anyone yet, but she's truly glad to meet Nane. Nane finds her beautiful and surprisingly kind. She doesn't even know her name, yet she feels genuinely at ease in her company. She's grateful that the woman isn't here as another aristocrat ready to tear her down, but as someone she could maybe talk to. She's also relieved to find out that the woman is a diplomat. Perhaps this means Nane can get some idea of how to navigate this minefield of a party and avoid getting metaphorically, or literally, beheaded. She admits to herself that she may be exaggerating, but still she needs a win. Badly. So far, she's learned that she's hated by every woman here. The only man who doesn't want her is her own husband, and she probably should have researched the venue better because Legacia, as it turns out, is surrounded on all sides by danger. In short, she's completely screwed. Just then, she hears a familiar voice. It's that attractive man from earlier. And another familiar voice joins him. It's Isaac. She hears him say to a woman, Amelia, that he can't do this right now. Nane freezes, heart pounding. Princess Amelia? She still can't believe that she met the web novel's main character without even realizing it. Isaac says to Amelia that this wasn't the name submitted to the council. She replies firmly that the council has nothing to do with it. Nane, who has been quietly enjoying this juicy conversation, notes to herself that he hasn't looked at her the same way since she told him that. Nane remembers this moment clearly. It was the first time Amelia had admitted that she loved him. Isaac sighs, recalling that she later denied it. He had accepted that, especially on his wedding day. Seuss whispers to him that she knows the timing was terrible, but Nane, who is a hopeless romantic, feels like this makes it even more meaningful. She had blocked out this part of the novel. Amelia had not been in a good place. Her brother had just died, there were riots in the streets, and she had picked up the dress she was supposed to wear to Isaac's wedding. She had felt like she was going to lose him too. She had just wanted a chance to explain things to him, but he had been avoiding her ever since. She just wanted to say that when she told him she loved him, she meant it like a friend, not romantically. But Nane knows she is lying. Even in the web novel, despite the Drifter arc tearing them apart, Amelia was still in love with him. Isaac holds Seuss's hand gently, and Nane wonders if they're about to kiss.